Maybe we can talk about your boobs some more. Get the tassels going. That's one of my favorite. My mom got me this.
Oh, did she? For whatever reason, I thought it was Jen.
No, for my birthday.
That's funny.
Love, Mom, Dad, and Serby. That's how old it is.
Wow.
But no, I loved it.
That's amazing.
Oh, I wish I had more water.
We can get through it.
You said you'll be fine.
Hold on. I feel like I'm losing it. I'm going to look at my breasts a lot in this episode because I want to make sure they're still out.
Hello, everybody. I'm Will.
And I'm Kristen.
And this is So I'm Watching This Show, your favorite YouTube channel where we talk about movies, TV, music, and more. And as always, this is a spoiler show, so you have been warned. On today's episode, we are going to be looking at the classic comedy horror spoof film, Elvira, Mistress of the Dark.
Yep.
And there's nothing wrong with G-rated movies as long as there's lots of sex and violence.
The charge is witchcraft.
We ought to have one of these every year.
See Elvira as Elvira, Mistress of the Dark.
But if they ever ask about me, tell them I was more than just a great set of...
It's the greatest double feature of all time.
So I was having a conversation with one of our followers, one of our fans on Instagram, and he had mentioned Elvira because she recently came out. Happy Pride in October.
It's Orlando Pride. It's Orlando Pride.
But Cassandra Peterson has come out, and she's been with a woman for the past 20 years. And it was exciting. And so when he brought up Elvira, I was like, I've never actually seen any of it.
Nor had I.
So I'm obviously aware of her.
Yeah, I've known that she's a thing.
And she was one of the VH1 had a heyday in the late 90s, early 2000s with I Love the 80s and Best Week Ever and stuff. And she was one of the commentators they brought in to do that as both Cassandra and Elvira.
I remember that.
And so I was always a fan of her, work, of her oeuvre, but I had never actually given it a look. And so anyways, for this Halloween season, we decided to go ahead and watch the original, her first movie. It was streaming on Hulu and Prime.
Yeah. So if you have either of those, you can definitely watch this.
Anyways, what did you think?
Wow. Okay. This is decidedly not my bag. It's like John Waters, weird Tim Burton-y type of place. So it's not 100% for me, but it was fun. I had a nice time. It was fun. Will, my husband, was right. It was like a 40-minute tit joke. And then there was some plot. But it was fun.
So starting it, I was kind of ooh, I was maybe we'll just watch this. It's one of the reasons why I'm hesitant about taking requests from people is because I don't want people to expect us to love something they love.
Yeah, I can't guarantee I'm going to love whatever anime you're asking me to watch.
Whatever
I'll watch
niche,
it, but I can't promise.
And so I was maybe we'll just watch it and whatever. And then for me, at least, gradually, as it went on, I found it kind of exponential. I sort of was enjoying it more and more. By the end, I was fucking loving it.
It was just sort of hilarious at the end, especially because there was this literal mob with torches and pitchforks just on the Gilmore Girls set. It was very funny.
It's one of those things that definitely I can see if you grew up with it, you would have
100%
huge nostalgia for it.
Because another thing it reminded me a little bit of is To Wong Fu, which I did grow up with, and it is equally silly and ridiculous and sort of bonkers sometimes. But I have a predisposition to that because I watched it when I was 12.
Yeah, I really wish I had stumbled upon this when I was 12 or 13. I would have been obsessed with her. Obsessed. obsessed with her.
She's pretty great. She's pretty great regardless.
And that's something that it's like, I mean, I gleaned that from her reputation, but actually sitting down for like an hour and 40 minutes and watching it, I was like, oh, this is like weirdly wholesome, but not like it's smutty. So not in that regard wholesome, but like she's actually like kind of a role model. Like,
oh my God. Yeah. Well, it's in that case, it's just like Crybaby, a John Waters movie, because it's like, you know, the like cool kids are like actually not bad, like they're presented as they are. So
like the first 15 minutes were sort of rough for me because it was establishing
several sex crimes.
Well, okay, I'm not there yet.
Oh, okay.
Before she's even gotten to the town.
We're not to the sex crimes
yet. They were putting it on thick. You know, we had to establish her like aspirations for Vegas showgirl stardom. Her unhappiness or at her current work situation. The Texan came in. It was a lot. Like,
that was a sex crime.
It was sort of.
It's milking time.
The 80s-ness is apparent.
Oh, yeah. So what? We were 3 when this movie came out. So that tells you everything.
The first 15 minutes of it are like it is a 15-minute boob joke. It's like, look at her boobs. And it was just real low-hanging fruit comedy-wise and stuff. I didn't expect for there to be a plot. It is a gentle plot, but it actually is there.
It works.
They do the work.
Oh, yeah.
And they go through the motions in ways that sort of kind of delighted me. And again, like I said, for me at least, it the more time I spent with it, the more I enjoyed it.
There's like a Chekhov spell book. It's a whole thing.
But I mean, even just like the people in the town, I really, based on the first 50 minutes, I was thinking it was really going to be one note. And then while formulaic, I was actually invested in her and Bob. Yeah. So he's not my type at all. No. But as far as like the 80s movie hunk, I was really into him.
So I'll tell you the thing I was going to tell you while we were watching. You said to save it. Brad Pitt auditioned for one of the teens, and literally Cassandra Peterson said, Elvira would not be interested in Bob if Brad Pitt was hanging around trying to get her. And then, hilariously, he apparently bought her mansion in Los Angeles later, like in real life.
That's funny.
Is that not amazing? I thought that was amazing.
That's funny. I'm trying to make 20-year-old Brad Pitt into one of those scrawny teens.
Yeah. And I was like, that's also true. Nobody wants Bob if 20-year-old Brad Pitt is right there.
Both.
Well,
the sex is obvious. Like I knew it was sex jokes, but I didn't realize it was going to be so kind of like sex positive. Kind of like liberal, like kind of like, ooh. And
that was the thing that we both said really tempered the like felony sex crimes part of this movie is that like Elvira and Cassandra Peterson are like the ones that are at the center of it. So it never feels like she's being exploited, like when the boys are taking photos of her and stuff.
You are correct. They are sex crimes, but you're setting a precedent that I don't feel like the movie really. Basically, she shows up in this town and she's like this like devil woman in this like super uptight conservative town.
Oh, well, I never.
Yeah, and you never will with them soup cans on your head.
Listen, young lady, I don't know who you are or where you came from, but you most certainly don't fit in this town. Why, you don't even fit in that dress.
Listen, sister, if I want your opinion, I'll beat it out of you.
Anita! It's the Antichrist, I tell you.
And so several men make passes at her, like grabby. They get grabby. And the teenage boys like spy on her, which the spying is sort of like one thing. I think it's the taking of the photographs that is while she's undressing in her bedroom. So there's a handful of that kind of like sex and gender politics that does not hold up.
Well,
and
like
that's not what I mean when I say that the movie was sort of refreshing
of
and role model. Like,
well, she also holds her own against them all. Like the men in the diner, she's able to get the upper hand there. And even when they are like coming both at her, Bob steps in. So it's like,
I also think it's funny, which I did not know this about her and didn't realize, and I appreciated it, because I knew she was hot, but I didn't realize how frequently she was the butt of the joke or how frequently she was sort of like down on her luck or kind of like I don't know. It was very interesting in a very fun, very drag way.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, it was real
I just needed a
draggy.
drag queen. I kind of thought that Patty was at first.
Oh, with the boobs.
But because I realized she was familiar to me and I looked her up and she is the amazing woman from Beetlejuice from the Day-O. She's the one in the gold, like that liquid gold with the big curly blonde hair.
Okay. See, for me, she is the like mannish German, like, I don't know, hotel worker in the Queen Latifah movie, The Last Holiday, which is one of my favorite movies of all time.
It comes up more than I feel like it should.
No, it's amazing. I love it so much. It's so good.
And I don't know how, again, with the 80s politics, sex and gender politics, it probably wouldn't have fared well. But I expected a drag.
Sure.
But as we have mentioned several times, Elvira herself is drag. So
Yeah, absolutely.
the plot that she inherits her great aunt dies, her great aunt Morgana. She inherits.
They keep pronouncing Morgana, which annoyed me every time.
She inherits a mansion, a poodle, and a cookbook.
Yep.
Okay.
Recipe book.
Real star of the show is Algonquin.
That's more like it, Algonquin. Algonquin. What a sissy name. Let's see, what do I call you? I know. Gonk. How do you like that?
The poodle. He was so sweet. And they also waited way late into the runtime to bring out the literal magic.
Yeah, way late. It would have been something if she had been if the ring had been accidentally doing stuff and she didn't realize, you know what I mean? Because it's just it's not until...
Well, it gleaned in the first shot, but
Sure.
I just kind of thought it was showcasing that she was gaudy.
Yeah, me too. And so that's the thing where it's it is not until she is literally feet to the fire that the ring does anything. And I was like, well, okay.
I found the cast of characters amusing. Particularly, was she the mayor or whatever? Chastity Pariah.
Oh my God. Well, it's Edie McClurg. She is amazing. She's in Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
She's in a lot. She stays working. I pulled up her.
She is awesome. I have always loved her. And she's doing her kind of patented thing in this movie. Yeah, Chastity Pariah is a really good name.
We also have that old biddy from the motel. She's the woman. I didn't look up the names. We just watched this.
I actually did have her name. It is Pat Crawford Brown. Yeah.
She's the woman. I have literally seen her in one thing. It is Romeo and Michelle's high school reunion. She's the diner waitress that says what kind of business you in?
We're doing Tucson later for a business thing, you know.
What kind of business you in?
And seeing her in this, it was like a celebrity.
Yeah.
I was like,
And I love that. So she was his mother, and so Robin's grandmother, and they're both just henpecked by her. And then finally at the end, he just is like, shut the fuck up.
I loved the teenagers. I thought that was so weird and funny.
If only one of them had been Brad Pitt.
Well, we didn't need her fucking a teenager.
No, of course. I'm
it got close
joking.
enough, but
Hey, Elvira, we got us a couple more volunteers.
Great. Just grab a tool and start banging.
no, I just loved that they all sort of loved and were fascinated by her, and she kind of took them in and taught them the joys of sex and makeup and rock and roll.
I'm telling you, to Wong Fu, it's very similar.
I was really kind of enchanted with it by the end. And again, like I said, considering that the plot is kind of light coming in, it gets really packed there at the end.
It does. A lot of stuff happens at the end.
Because because there's a scene where they're burning her at the stake, which is fine. That's to be expected. But there was part of me that was surprised that they didn't come around, because they do at the very end.
Yeah.
And I was like, this feels like this maybe should have happened sooner. But that's where you kind of realize that the entire town isn't necessarily this way. It's the 5 people that are bending this town to their will.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Also, they made a little pyre for the dog too.
What are you whining about? I'm the one getting barbecued. Oh, sorry.
It was very silly.
It was the little details like that.
Oh, for sure.
That elevated it for me.
Yeah.
Like, because it needed help. Like, it needed all the help it could get. But there was a couple points where I genuinely laughed out loud when she's trying to get the teenagers to come to her show and they're like ignoring her. And she basically like spouts off this eulogy for herself in the middle of the diner and then starts fake crying.
Yeah.
I was like, that needs to be one of my party tricks. I need to memorize that monologue. Like I said, it goes to some really crazy place. Oh, the spell book when she was cooking. I
already wanted ginger ale. It hurt my feelings.
You were so nauseated.
It was so bad.
And it went on
for long.
Minutes.
Doesn't smell too bad. It looks like cock-a-doodoo.
And then even when they were trying to like kill the monster.
Well, so that went on for minutes. Then she covers up the pot and takes it out to eat so they can eat it. And she lifts the lid off of it. And it's like a fucking dragon in there. Like a Komodo dragon.
But it was gross. But it was gross
and
in a different way.
And like disgusting. And then they're trying to kill it and it's getting slime, like barfy looking slime everywhere. And then they're like trying to garbage disposal it. Ugh. It was horrible.
And that was going for
that was maybe one of the worst things I've ever seen.
Oh, the orgy. I knew there was a part I was missing.
The picnic orgy.
Will called it too. He was like, we're gonna go to a season 2 True Blood.
Like, this is horny casserole, like season 2 of True Blood, and we were like, and then it definitely was.
I also loved that. I love that 80s balance of like jokes where it was like most of them were really dumb and some of them were like risque, and then there was one or two where we were like clutching our pearls. Because what'd she say? Is this face taken?
Yeah.
Lifts her skirt and just
Edie McClurg. Yeah, that was intense.
I mostly, sex crimes aside, I mostly found it.
You know I'm teasing.
No, I know. I was kind of laughing at myself. If we ever get famous one day, they're going to be pulling all of this.
I can excuse sex crimes.
All these receipts. But no, like sex crimes aside, it's one of the ones that I think is good for like younger, like I said, 12 or 13. I would have eaten this up with a spoon.
For sure. No, it was super fun and silly.
And then in the end, she defeats her fucking aim. She like 2 or 3 times she like accidentally hit the nail right on the so she like overthrows her uncle and she inherits his estate and gets all the money. And then she gets her Vegas show. Yep. And then she does titty spinning
which is very impressive.
Again, for several minutes.
Yeah,
it went on.
Well, she does just one. And then she does just the other. And then she does them both the same way. And then she does them opposite ways.
Give it a...
No, I can't. I can't do anything like that. No. And also, this bra is not going to help me with that. Elvira has a lot of tit. I don't have a lot of tit.
I said this during the movie. I was like, obviously the boobs, like everyone's aware. I've seen her. Like I know all that, but I've never watched her before. And I was like, I never realized how pretty she is.
She just does have a lovely
just
face.
Actually pretty. And dynamite figure, her legs. Oh my God, are you kidding? Like
when they were like cleaning up the house and they were like pinned together on the sides all the way down, I was like, woo!
I could have used a few more costumes. Although she did end up having, especially once we got to her showgirl attire.
Yeah.
But I could have used, you can do a little black dress many different ways.
Sure.
And she did actually, because she came out with like the bazooka at one point.
I did like her little, like the pin that was like the knife, like the dagger. That was pretty cool too.
Oh, and the baby Elvira, I laughed out loud. That makeup on, and the baby kind of had this like,
hilarious.
So I might go down
an Elvira rabbit hole.
An Elvira rabbit hole. I see that there's more. Yeah. I don't know if there's many more movies or yada yada whatever, but we'll see. I'm kind of obsessed right now, so I'll lean in.
Fair enough.
So, anyways, check out old classics every so often. Sometimes, you'll find there's reasons. It's
like
also the kind of thing.
This is like a campy cult classic.
Oh, sure.
This is not a classic, but
it's also the kind of thing that, again, the more time you spend with, we've talked about it before. We should actually cover Rocky Horror Picture Show, But the first time you watched it, you were like a proper adult. And
Yeah.
there was a part of you where you were kind of like, this is it. Like, I
there's
kind of can't believe this is.
There's multiple movies like that for me where I'm just like, well, I missed my window. Like, I feel like I would get absolutely nothing from watching the Blair Witch Project right now. Or like, there's something about Mary. These movies that were like dominating the conversation when they came out, and I missed them. And I just feel like I wouldn't gain anything at this point in my life.
But my point is, as someone who, like, I think if you watch some of them, if you watch them a few times,
sure,
like, because I mean, I think I was like 14 when I saw Rocky Horror.
Okay,
so that's probably, I don't know.
Also, I'll dodge the tomatoes now, but it was the same for when I watched This Is Spinal Tap. I just was like, oh, I know all of the jokes already.
I think sometimes like repeat viewings or viewings with other people who are like way into it can really elevate.
Yeah.
Because I maintain you were very generous with your praise for the movie Airplane. And I maintain that if you watched it a couple more times, that you would warm even more to
sure.
to it.
I mean, I liked it a lot. I liked it more than I thought I was going to, which I feel like was a win.
It was a win. Absolutely. Yeah. So, yeah. Okay, well, we're going to bring you some more spooky movies, some more scary movies for Halloween.
Rachel is going to probably be in my chair a decent amount because we're traumatizing her and making her watch movies that I've already seen and some that we have already covered. So watch this space for Rachel, and we'll still be doing the new releases that are coming out in October.
So yeah, like and subscribe. Patreon.com/so I'm watching this show. If you want to patronize us, we are in need of patronizing.
Also, I mean, if next time you want me to wear an Elvira wig,
I tried.
Those bitches ain't cheap.
There you go.
Just saying.
So yeah, so I'm watching.com, @so I'm watching, all of that jazz, and we'll see you soon.